Hi YouTube, welcome to my very first YouTube video. My name is Jackie. I'm a handmade artisan. I make six figures selling on Etsy, my own website, and Handmade at Amazon. Today I want to talk to you about how I do my bookkeeping, how I keep track of my finances, and a little bit of stuff about taxes.
So this is how I do my daily bookkeeping, and I mean every single day, every single transaction. I used to do the electronic way until 2015. I clicked the wrong button or I did something and I didn't know how to fix it, and it completely screwed up my taxes and left me scrambling to figure out all of my expenses, all of my revenue coming from which sources. It was a nightmare and I wasn't prepared for it. And I told myself I am never doing that again. And I would recommend to anybody to do this kind of bookkeeping because it keeps you more in control of your finances, especially when you are manually writing it all down. It just sticks with you better. It's kind of like having a paper planner versus an electronic one. Which one are you going to hold yourself more accountable to? Okay, let's get to this. So every morning I will write down what I sold, when, obviously, and how much I made, as well as the business transactions. Things I have to pay for will go in my expenses column. And then when the sheet is done, I will just add up the totals. And then, of course, the next sheet, you do the math. Okay, so the first day of every month, I will fill out a form similar to this. And it helps me keep track of how I'm going month to month. And at the end of the year, I know exactly what my finances are, and it makes me feel very secure. Especially being self-employed, full-time, this is the only income that my family has. I have to be in control of the finances, and I'm sure you can agree. Okay, so every month you're going to find out your revenue total. That is the total amount of money that your shop brought in that month. And then I like to add the previous year just to, compare and contrast, see how you're doing. Your gross total is the absolute total that your shop has made year to date, and you can divide that by the month. Like in this case it was December, so I would divide this number by 12, and that would give you your monthly average. So that's about how much you make every single month for the whole year. And expenses, of course, you want to add up all your expenses and see how much you're paying every month. And right here you can keep track of how much you're paying for the entire year. And right here, net total, you will get this from taking your gross total minus your expense total, okay? And that gives you your profit. This is what you will be taxed on, okay? And right here, this month net. So, of course, again, divide by the number of month, and then you get your monthly average right here. Tax owed, again, you would find your total profit, your net, and times that by how much you owe your tax percentages. I'm not going to tell you what yours should be. You got to look into your federal, your self-employment tax, the country you live in, also your city and state. So it really depends. But in my case, what I do is put a solid 30% into a separate savings account that I don't touch because the money doesn't belong to me. All right, so, and I will take this number and times it by 30, which is, the money that I'm setting aside. And it will let me know how much I owe. So any given day, any given month, I know exactly where I am as far as my taxes. That is the most important thing. Seriously. And then I also like to keep track of how much money I have in my tax savings account. So that's pretty much about it. Now, I have this available in the Facebook group, and you can download that and use it, or feel free to make your own. I mean, I have my own. I made this just for presentation's sake.
So let's talk about that tax savings account. What I do basically is a kind of varied form of what's described in the book Profit First. If you haven't read that book, go read it. Especially being self-employed, you need it. Okay, basically, you compartmentalize your money. Okay, so when I get my pay every week from whatever selling venue it is, okay, Etsy, Amazon, my website, The first thing I do before even accounting for expenses is put 30% into the tax account. All right. And then I take 5%, I put that into my savings, and 5 or 10% into a business expense account. So, you're paying for your expenses out of that account. Okay. So at the end of the month, you're going to find that you have an overage, probably by a few $100s. You can keep that money in the tax account. You can put that in your personal savings account, or I don't know, it's your money. You can do what you want. But at the end of the year, when you go to file your taxes, you'll find that there is a lot of extra money if you're doing this correct. In my case, it's just me. This is the only income for the family, okay? So this is what works for me. But when I went to file my taxes this year, I had so much extra money in there, even with taking money every month. There was so much extra in there that I got to keep $9,000 of that. So that's like the biggest tax return I've ever got in my life, even though it's my own money. So, if your bookkeeping or your money managing works for you, don't mess with it. But maybe you want to give this a try and maybe it'll help. So there you go. If you are interested about learning more, maybe about how I got to where I am, try clicking the links below. I have a Facebook group, and if you want more content like this, please subscribe. See you later.